Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Real People, Real Stories, where we are interviewing people just like you and me who have had amazing successes with redox signaling molecules. My name is Dr. Barbie Phillips, and I'm coming to you from Fargo, Oklahoma, and I am a chiropractic physician for people and animals. So I'm so delighted that we're going to have an awesome guest tonight. I was introduced to these molecules about 4 years ago, just a little greater than that, and they have really made an amazing change for me. So if you're new to redox signaling molecules, I'd like to take just a moment to let you know a little about them. So redox molecules in general, they're native to the human body. We're born with them, and that's what helps our cells communicate. So if we have cells that can communicate better, or like they should and like they were designed to be, then we have the ability to have healthy bodies. What happens though, after about the age of puberty, we start losing 1% per year ability to make these molecules that are instrumental for our health. And our health and other things can start declining. We may start having symptoms, and that is not something that we like. So what's the answer to that? We think we have an answer for you. The answer comes in this blue bottle, which has redox signaling molecules in it. They're just like the ones that our body naturally produces that we cannot produce as much of as we get older, and we can consume them. That's a liquid. And then we also have redox signaling molecules in this gel, which is a topical form. And so you can rub that on. So we can help those cells regain those redox signaling molecules that they need to function properly, so the cells can communicate and our body can be healthier. Once we consume these molecules are very small. And because they're so tiny, they easily absorb into the cells. And once they get into the cells, they start acting as an on-off switch to the cells. They turn the good cells on and they turn
I could have gone
off. And so that is really, really important.
Introductory statements.
And excuse me, I'm going to mute a couple people here. So, okay. And then once they get into the cells, they start doing their work. This acts as a cascade to some cells around it, to the neighboring ones, and then that flow just continues through the body so that our body can overall achieve better health. It does increase our resilience to stress over time by consuming these molecules. I'm going to introduce or interject a disclaimer here. And that disclaimer is that tonight, as we interview our guest, this is strictly the testimony and experiences from our guest. In no way are we intending to diagnose, treat, or prevent a medical condition. This is simply just a wonderful experience from our guest tonight. But before we get started with our guest, we are going to introduce our co-host, which is Kathleen Oliveri, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself and then interview our guest tonight. Kathleen, I'll turn it over to you.
Hi, we're so glad that you are joining us today and us to meet and talk with our wonderful guest. I'm Kathleen Oliveri, and I'm coming to you today on vacation, but I am from Mississippi, and where I teach at Mississippi State University. Tami, we are just so delighted to have you on and to get to meet you. Tami, where are you joining us from? Where are you from?
I am from Poplar Bluff, Missouri, which is southeast Missouri, down in the Boot Heel. And this is where I was born and raised, as so was my husband. And so this is my family home.
Oh, how marvelous, Tami. Thank you for sharing that. Now, Tami, you have tell me about how you were introduced to ASEA and what interested you, what piqued your interest.
Well, probably like most people that are maybe either viewing this or that they find out about ASEA, they were told about this this wonderful product by a friend. And that so happened to be one of my very dear friends who we had a history, always a history of working together. She had got me introduced to the apparel industry way back in the day, 1982, as a matter of fact, when the year I was married. And so that was my passion. I always thought I was going to be, well, be in the textile industry somehow or in apparel. I love that. And so we always kind of had a little business interest together along the years. And so back in 20, I guess it was 20, it was, let's see, 2021. It was 2021. I mean, not, shoot, I'm so, 2021 is when it was, not 2020. And I was, we just were talking one day, and I had mentioned to her that I was having some issues with a bad place on my shoulder. And I had had a lot of treatments, several treatments, acupuncture and doing chiropractic and different things for that. And of course, taking lots of pain relievers and anti-inflammatories orally. And things just were not working out. It wasn't healing. So we had discussed this at one point in time, several years before she mentioned it to me, this product, and had suggested it for us for some heart health issues that my husband was having at the time. And so didn't kind of we just didn't really see the big picture. And so that day as we were talking, I said, you mentioned that. And I said, if you still believe in this, she said, she said, I do. And I really think you ought to give it a try. And so that's what I did. I said, well, if you believe it, I said, I'm willing to try anything and I want it tomorrow. So that was how I got started with it. I, of course, mentioned to her, I said, okay, I want it tomorrow and I want it for your cost. So how do we do that? And so she told me about that. And so I said, associate it is, I'll give you, here's my $40. I get the best perks for that. And how soon can I get it? So it came about 4 or 5 days later arrived on my doorstep, and I whipped it out, got the bottle going. I said, what do I do? She said, just drink it. And so I did. And I had my 2 ounces that day. I thought I was taking 4 ounces in the little cup, and I drank another. She said, just drink it. And I said, okay, drink it. And she said, there's a little cup in there. And I said, okay. And so I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it, but I had very quick results with the first couple of after the second dose of the 2 ounces that I was taking, thinking I was taking 4. I was like, man, I woke up the next morning and thought, I didn't wake up at 3 a.m. And that was kind of a thing that was going on in my life. And I thought that was just supposed to be, how things are. People just, as you get a little bit older. And so I thought, well, that was really cool. And then about 4 days later, 4 days into it, I was here with my granddaughter. I had my youngest granddaughter. She was about 6 months old at the time. And I was keeping her, and I was having to keep up with her, and she'd go down for a nap and I had to take a nap also. I was always kind of running out of steam. And my girlfriend called me and she said, so how are you doing? And I said, well, I'm doing pretty good. She said, how's your shoulder? And I said, well, I think it's getting better. And I said, but I have to ask you, does this stuff give you energy? And she laughed and she said, yes, it does. And I said, well, that's really good because I am doing housework now. The baby's been asleep for an hour and a half and I'm not having to lay down and take a nap with her. And I'm running circles around my house and I'm just like going nonstop. And she kind of laughed and I said, well, this is amazing. That in itself is amazing. And so long story, I just continue to drink and use the Renew 28 gel. And I just, my issue just ended up healing very quickly. It was a couple of weeks probably later, it was no longer there. And I just proceeded to have other good benefits from the product. So that's kind of like, that's my story.
Wow. Wow, Tammy, that's amazing. Now, not everybody has responds that quickly, so I'm so glad that you did respond that quickly. Now, you use the gel, and where did you apply that?
On the issue, I would put it
Okay.
directly on there. In fact,
Mhm.
I don't even recall that I knew anything about applying like we do today, our Tyndall swipe, as we call it, or applying on the neck or the site of the places that I use it today, knowing. But I would use it rub it, on my shoulder area and on my neck, and I just then, it just all kind of came full circle where I'm like, if I don't have a tube of gel in every room, then I get a little bit nervous. I love to have it because I use it everywhere.
Yes. And you mentioned too, Tammy, that then you just kept getting some benefits. Are there any additional benefits that of course, you've already mentioned the most important, well, several important ones, but having more energy and running circles around your granddaughter, and then certainly helping with the issue on your shoulder. Are there any other benefits that you've
Yes,
had?
actually probably the one of the biggest, most important ones as well, was I had a history of, back in my early 30s, I developed some degenerative issues with my spine and with my disc, and it was at times it was often debilitating, to the
Mm.
point that how you say your back went out. Well, my back would be out, and I would be I was hospitalized with it one day, just, simply leaning over in the floor to pick up a pair of boots one morning, and then I couldn't get up, couldn't with the back spasms and things that I would have, and just not let up, and just so bad that you can't get up, you can't get down, you can't do anything without excruciating pain. And it would be on and off. And I had several different episodes with that throughout in my 30s and my 40s, into my 40s, and probably it was in my 40s, and I had gone to had to go to a specialist for this. And that was the time, at that time, I had had that for ongoing for at least a solid 2 weeks. I was miserable. I could hardly move, and without crying. It was so hard to get up and down and do anything. And so I went to a specialist, and was told, well, do you take an NSAID, or do you take any anti-inflammatories? And I said, well, if you're talking about what kind, like if you're talking about Aleve or ibuprofen, yeah, well, I take those by the handfuls. And I said, and I'm still here. And so this was um, that was something that at the time, he said, okay, well, you're going to go on an anti-inflammatory, and this is something that you're going to take twice a day for the rest of your life. And I said, okay.
Hmm.
So how fast can I get that? So I got it, and that's what I just believed to be true. And I took it, and I took it, and I took it. And I was about 12 years into taking that anti-inflammatory, but I also would have to take Aleve or ibuprofens, or I took other things because it wasn't helping. It just didn't keep the inflammation down in my body. And so that at that time, I'd probably been on the product about 4 months, I'll say. And I went to the pharmacist and to get my prescription filled. And he said, I want to, because I had another warning come out about this today, and I just know that you've been on it for some time. So I just told him, I said, well, I pretty well have a cast iron stomach, is what I said. Poppy, that's happens to be my daughter-in-law's dad. We call him Poppy. I go, oh, Poppy, I've got a cast iron stomach. So I said, So I got home and I got to thinking about that, and I thought, you know, let me just see what happens here if I don't take that. And I did not take a pill. I did not take one. And the rest of that is history. That bottle is still full from then. And I have not had, I just, today, I hardly ever, my back is not an issue. It is just, I'm able to get up. I may be a little bit stiff in the morning sometimes. And I know if I overdo it, but not only did that, me getting off of that help, I mean, my inflammation, it reduced the inflammation in my body. And so I just remain, faithful to redox and the gel, and it it was causing stomach upset. I didn't realize what digestive issues that I was having, bloating, and thinking, that I also thought that was something I was just supposed to have to endure, so that went away, and I've never looked back. It's just been amazing.
Tammy, that is so wonderful to hear, with some of the issues that you've had. If somebody's watching this and they're hesitant or not sure what, if they're thinking about redox signaling molecules, what could you say to people, or what would you want people to know, based upon your experiences?
Just that, I mean, it's the fuel that our bodies need. Understand, I mean, it's hard. I didn't know what redox signaling molecules were. I did not have a clue what this product was when I took it on my friend's, just on my faith and trust in her that she, believed in that. And I said, what is this stuff? And she said, redox signaling molecules. And I said, well, I don't know what that is, but whatever. I think it's really cool. And then then became fascinated with the product, with what what it is. And it's safe, it's non-toxic. I mean, you can give it to anything. I mean, if it has a cell, you can give it to, and it will improve the life cycle of it. And it is, I mean, it's just a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. It just helps exponentially the things that, that it does for our system.
Wonderful. I would like to give an opportunity for people who are watching. We have quite a few who are on live with us today. If you have any question that you want to ask, then, simply just unmute your microphone. And if you want to show your video, great. But we do want to give an opportunity for those of you who are watching today live to ask a question of Tammy. Is there anybody out there who wants to ask a question? Hi, Marita. How are you doing today? What is
Hello,
your
Tammy.
question?
Hi, Marita.
Hello, Tammy. Good to see you. And how have you been so active to grow your business? Can you share some tips?
Well, I absolutely, first of all, just be consistent. Consistency. It can be a roller coaster ride, and it still is. I think one thing I have enjoyed, I try to embrace the people that are the experts as far as that goes, or our leaders. Um, Another thing, of course, that's been very helpful to be involved, and to be present, get on with the morning calls that we're so lucky to have. Um, be very consistent and be patient with people, because just like I had my sponsor be as she was, the first time she introduced me to this, we just didn't see it. And a lot of people are that way. And had she not mentioned it to me again, who knows? I may not know about it today. So I think that that's very, very important to do that and follow up. And I'm trying to get better. I mean, I'm still learning. It's a big learning curve for us all. And just trust in yourself. I know, every one of us have had a good experience with this product. And so trust in yourself and know that what our company has is amazing. And it's backed 100,000% by them. We know it's safe and it's good. And if you don't tell someone about this, they may never know about it. So don't be afraid.
Do you have a lot of one-on-ones, or do you do workshops with your team?
We do some workshops, and then I'm kind of solo. I have a lot of great team members in Cape Girardeau, which is not in my hometown. And I've been doing more one-on-ones here in my hometown, and I actually have been I'm excited. I have two new associates that live here in Poplar Bluff that have had really good product experiences and are sharing it. And so I'm excited because I think that is our plan to start doing some workshops here too. So yeah, one-on-ones basically that's a big thing. So I got another awesome associate out of she lives in St. Louis, and it was kind of crazy because I just went on Messenger, and it was when Denny's new page, the Real Redox, Facebook page, she had said, be sure and share this. And one day I just was sitting here and I just started tapping on invite to some of my friends on Facebook. And just so happened one of them responded back, and it was my associate in St. Louis, and she said, what is this? What is Redox? And so that was pretty cool. And then, what is this? Is this a direct marketing company? And then I thought, oh yeah, here it goes. And then she said, because I really like that. So it was great. And yeah, so she's, just growing like that. Pretty organically at first. I spent a lot of time. I said I wasn't going to work this as a business. But I would grow it organically. If it happened that way, then that's how it was. So I've just been really blessed that I now have the more time that I can. Well, of course, Avery's my baby. We kept her home for a couple of years, and she's going to go she'll be in kindergarten. That's our youngest granddaughter. And so now I've got a little bit of extra time. So it's pretty great.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Marita. Are there any other questions out there? And if not, we're going to turn this back over to our host, Dr. Barbie. If there aren't any other questions.
Yes, I have a question.
Hello, Miss Nancy.
Hi, Tami. Tami, what is your strongest response to a skeptic?
My strongest response to a skeptic, that you have actually the company backs this product. If you don't have, if you'll just give it a try, you have nothing to lose, because we have a 30-day money back guarantee, empty bottle guarantee. And most people do have results they will see some type of results within the first 30 days. Some quicker than others, but if you will commit to it, the company backs the product and guarantees it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other questions for Miss Tami tonight?
Miss Barbie,
Yes.
this is Claudette, and
Hi,
I do have
Claudette.
a question. I'm listening to this show from the Grand Canyon, so I may lose you.
Wow.
But Tami,
Hi, Claudia. Yes.
hi, Tami. When you started, from the very time you started the Redox until you got permanent relief from your back issues, how long was that?
It was, I was only had been taking it using it around 4 months. And I also wanted to make note that I was taking 2 ounces in the very beginning. And then it was several weeks into it. I think I had asked, how much are you supposed to take of this? And then I was like, oh, I thought I was taking 4 ounces. So then I upped it to 4. And now I have this past fall, entering the winter months of germ season and everything, I thought, I'm just going to take a little more. So my sweet spot is 6, and then luckily now 6 is the new 8. So, but I started to see, I mean, my back really just evolved probably within 6 months. I just don't remember it really flaring up ever again after I was really consistent with it after about 4 months.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I would like to say real quick, Barbie, is that I was going to make note that due to inflammation, I know that this works for that. We do know, I mean, it's proven that it's great for inflammation and reducing inflammation in our body, which is huge. And most recently, my husband is having an issue with, he's having an autoimmune type flare up, and it causes a lot of inflammation. And his SED rate was, when we first got diagnosed, his SED rate, they did that test as inflammation SED rate, and it was extremely high. Extremely, like it was in the 70s, upper 70s. And we really started bumping his dosage up. And within 2 weeks, it was down in the 30s when we went back. And I know that it was due to that. So
Wow, that's a great testimony.
it's
Mhm.
incredible for that. And yeah, so inflammation, that's a big thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Tami. We really appreciate it. And we are going to go ahead and wrap up here. Thank you so much for everyone joining us tonight. We're so honored that you took time to come and listen to Tami's testimony. We do want to remind everyone that if you're out there watching this, to be sure and purchase your products from a reputable associate like Tami or myself or Kathleen or several people that are on this call. They will also help coach you with the products, which is really important, but you will also get the guarantees from the company, and we want to make sure you get safe products. So that's really important. The video will be recorded and will be posted on our Creation Chiropractic YouTube channel. I hope everyone that is on here will take time to share this with someone who needs to hear such a great testimony as what Tami shared tonight. And we will be gathering again on June 11th in 2 weeks to hear from another special guest and hear their testimony and how redox signaling molecules has changed their life. So Tami, again, I just want to thank you for your time, and we're going to wish everyone a great night. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you all. It was my pleasure. Enjoyed it.